It would be great to have someone who could do our work for us, right? Someone to prevent us from making mistakes. Someone to assist with our routine professionally and allow us to devote our time to communicating with our closest people. If only we could get results without wasting our time for nothing. Unfortunately, it's impossible in real life. But wait, Light Forex Social Trading. Spend your time doing what really matters to you.
Hi guys, good afternoon. It's 9th of April 2019. It's 2 minutes past 2 CET time. Piotr here, and this is the New York live market coverage on Light Forex YouTube channel. Hopefully you are doing okay. Basically, euro dollar, nothing special, but that's something we discussed during the pre-London Open. Pound did the round. So actually that's what we expected as well. A little bit different story on dollar yen. That's what we are going to discuss as well. But before we start, let's have the risk warning in place, guys. Please bear in mind trading FX and cryptos on margin carries a high level of risk, may not be suitable for all investors. You can sustain a loss of some or all your initial investments, so please do not invest the money that you cannot afford to lose. Okay. Risk warning, we are done with risk warning, so we can switch to the platform. We'll see what's going to happen around the US Open, if it's gonna US Cash Open. If it's gonna be boring, then we are gonna to make our meeting, today's meeting, shorter. But anyway, as a reminder, there is a ECB tomorrow, and we are going to cover pre-London Open at 8 a.m. CET, right? But then, as a reminder, because of 1:45 CET, we do have ECB rate decision. So tomorrow we are going to meet a bit earlier, just to cover the decision, and then to cover Super Mario press conference. The thing is, it's a Wednesday, April 10th. Usually it was on Thursday. Hopefully nothing's wrong with the calendar I'm using here. Okay, that's, I believe, should be okay. Cool. So what is going on? Actually, we can try to start with dollar index, same way we start today's pre-London Open live market coverage. Just 1 second. There you go. Right, that's the daily, and that's what we discussed, that we got back inside the range, last ECB range, right? For the last few days we do have some kind of the consolidation, right? We are discussing that based on the open and close levels, we are discussing in case of eventually there might be attempt to break eventually. Jesus, So we may see a little bit higher and a little bit lower levels, right? So we are trying to go to the downside. It's gonna be quite interesting, especially the second part of the US session. We do have possible demand, and we do have, based on this measure of the broken consolidation. So here on the dollar index, based on the chart I'm using here, we are talking about 96.80, 96.65.60 as a possible demand on dollar. And to be honest with you, I'm not gonna be surprised to see the day with the lower shadow closing inside the original consolidation, right? So we are talking in that case about 97 or so here on the XY. So let's switch lower. Let's have a look what we can get on the 1 hour chart. So what's important here is the range created 4 hours ago. All right. So that's gonna be quite. This range is gonna be quite important. And I see the possibility. That's what we discussed, right? 96.80 based on the daily, right? There is some possible stops over here, right? So trying to go down at 80. So another attempt to move lower to extend this range and trying to create some kind of the jumping jack flash, right? if you remember. So that's how I see the dollar index. So most probably we are going to try to clean some stops, some more stops to the downside. And if we expect stronger dollar into the close, so in that case this stop hunt should happen around some option expiration or London fix. And then the second part of the New York session, that might be this some kind of the turnaround, right? And that's this type of the price action, the visualization we did here, it will translate into euro dollar with the stops around 113 we discussed during the pre-London Open meeting. Okay, so one more attempt to go lower here, and I do expect the bulls to step in around 96.80, 96.65, 60. Okay, that's how I see the things on the dollar index. So let's get back to our platform. Okay. Just a second. Just a second. Okay, so From what we discussed during the morning meeting, I've been trading pound only from the intraday perspective. Let me have a look if I can prove it for you. Trading history. Yeah, I took it the long. But first, basically, you can check. You can check it in my profile on their social trading platform. Where is the link? It's over here. I'm gonna to place the link, so you are gonna be able to check that. Yeah, I really did the trade on the pound. Okay. So what was all about? What we discussed morning with the pound? What was the case behind the long on the pound, right? The thing was we broke through yesterday high, right? We broke through yesterday high, so we activated that demand over here. We took out this supply, right, which should turn into the demand. So we switch lower to 15-minute chart during the morning meeting, right? And we were discussing that okay, maybe not exact yesterday high. We found possible demand. We found possible demand on the intraday basis below yesterday high. It was in relation also to the daily open, all right? And this orange zone we treated before. We had this zone when we drew this orange zone when we were like this, am I right? Yeah, somewhere like this, and then we were discussing this yesterday high, dotted green line, right? And during our meeting I've mentioned I don't like it. I do expect a little bit lower level, and we hit that demand zone correlated with daily open, right? 30.57, 30.56, right? And we started to move to the higher. I missed. That's because other guys would tell you, oh, we discussed it was easy trade. I missed that entry, that exact entry. I've been waiting on a smaller time frame for a little bit more confirmation. So instead of trying to long around 60, right, I took the trade when we started to move higher, right? And when we're moving above two things, above the high of this candle, we tested daily open, right, and above yesterday high. So as you can check, I took the long around 74. What is important, that my stop was 6.1 and my target was 18, right? Of course commission, so it was in total around 7 pips. Without the commission, that would be 3R. That's 7. It was like 2.5 R. And then we saw immediately this spike, and I've been on the market like few minutes, maybe less. And that's what I like from intraday perspective. That's what we discussed before. It was not easy trade, as some may try to tell you. It was not. All right. It was based on the then we saw the rumors about the Merkel and Brexit, and then there was the rumor being denied by the Germany, and we are where we were at the very beginning. More stops were taken, right? 15 minutes ago, more stops were taken out. So that's this type of the market we have currently on the pound. What we discussed on the pound side, right? What we discussed on the pound side was that still is the thing that we are holding 130, 129.70, right? But of course, the bullish price action we discussed happened, so we have to try to find eventually another setup. Before we will go through the pound, let's discuss what was the case in terms of the short, right? I didn't say the short, but if anyone of you were listening, we're talking that eventually market will try to take out today high and eventually will try to reject the high. And of course it was because of the Germans denied the rumor about the Merkel and Brexit and backstop. So it was the quick move to the upside, and it was very quick move to the downside. I'm very happy that at least I took part of this move to the upside. Then there was a classic retest, right? So there was a breakout. The next candle, it was classic retest, lower shadow, but the next was breakdown, right? Then retest, what we have seen here, that was a retest of what we've seen to the left. So it was pretty clear that market is going to take out some stops, will chase some stops, right? So market is going to take out the weakest long. That was when we were already here, that was quite clear, right? But again, I didn't participate in this move to the downside. Just to be totally honest. Now, are we ready on the pound to move higher or not yet? More or less, as you can see. So what happened right now? Because of this spike to the upside, the weakest longs were forced to get out. What happened? That was the daily open, that was the Asia, that was the Tokio stops. First attempt to go lower was rejected around the daily open, so few longs survived, few took profit, right? Right now, what happened? We took out all the stops based on today's trading activity. All right, we still have something around the weekly open probably. So it might be the case that we may try to create some kind of the megaphone over here. So let's have a look. Right, we may try to reject yesterday high, dotted green line, and we may see attempt to go lower. So the pin bar or the candle with the long lower shadow are very popular. In that case, that's for many bullish setup. I would prefer to see this type of the candle here. In my opinion, this one is the invitation to hit more stops. It might happen around, maybe not option expiration, but around the London fix, in my opinion. But again, it might be only stop hunting. Just the reminder of our discussion, morning discussion. Let's switch to higher time frame. One moment, let's switch to daily. Because this line is based only on today's price activity. Right, so let's switch to the higher time frame. Let's remove all the arrows. All right. So both sides, that's what I've been trying to explain during the pre-London Open. Both sides got the arguments in hands, right? Bulls. Besides all the mess Brexit related, we are still above 130, 129.70. That's the argument. That's the fact. Usually April, just forget about the April 2018. The rest of April, so we are talking about the seasonality, a bit in favor of the pound. All right. The only thing most probably bulls are worried about is this configuration after the stop count towards 33.80 pullback, attempt to rally, lower high, attempt to rally. We didn't make lower high, we didn't confirm this lower high, but anyway, we didn't manage to go higher, right? So that's what I've been trying to explain this morning. As long as on a daily basis we are below the latest rally over here, okay, there is a still possibility market will try to finally break down to the breakdown to make the breakdown towards 27, 26.50. All right. Of course, bulls, the positives are that we are still above 130, 129.70, and that's that we have April right now. So trying to push the higher, that's what we've seen yesterday and at least during the first part of the European session. So from the intraday perspective, I would say that we have to take into the consideration today's high, Friday high, any kind of the stop hunting with rejection that might be short setup, right? On the pound. On the other hand, I wouldn't be surprised if we are gonna to retest yesterday low and maybe I'm sorry for a second, let me mute that one. I'm sorry guys, hopefully I muted. Anyway, the bulls are around 130. We may try to trade either this over under this one over here. So let's change the color for this over under. Or we may try to hit some stops to the downside, right? and we may try to build a lower shadow. But I think the later during the day, the later over the course of the day, the lower we are, there are gonna be less and less chances to try to recover into the daily close, and that might be the one of the slowest breakdown I've seen lately on the market, right? Hi Ulysses, good evening. How you doing? So just trying to summarize the pound. Overall, the key zone based on the daily close is 130, 129.70. As long as we are holding this zone at the end of the day, there is a chance that we are going to try to take out today's and Friday high. That may open the possibility for a rally towards 31.40. all right, in case we are going to take out the bottom of this previous range, the top range with the stops. So we are talking in that case about levels around 32.20. That's something we discussed last week as well here on the pound, right? So watching out from intraday perspective, we are trying to hold above the weekly open blue dotted line, and we are trapped right now under the yesterday high on the pound. That's how I see the things on the British pound on the cable right now. So let's switch to 15-minute chart and let's watch what's going to happen, how we are going to resolve current New York open. Okay. Euro dollar, we know after the morning meeting, after the pre-London live market coverage, we know that there are plenty of expiration ahead of the ECB tomorrow, and there is a whole zone in between 60 and, as far as I remember, something towards 130. I don't have it handy right now. Anyway, as I mentioned during morning meeting, that please do not expect big fireworks on euro dollar today. We have to be patient, and we have to wait probably till Draghi press conference tomorrow, in my opinion. So what we were discussing, and it's still valid, we do have, based on the intraday possible supply and demand zones, we do have a supply higher towards 113, right? That might be plenty of different explanation, like something similar to inverted head and shoulders, breakout of the range, flag, whatever. All these setups pointed towards 113, maybe 113 10-ish, or these levels, right? And it looks like that's let's try to round it 113.20 as a key psychological supply from the short term perspective, right? If we are gonna be able to hold and trying to get back last few ECB meetings, why we shouldn't? If we are going to hold this zone at the end of the day, tomorrow, Thursday, so let me explain you what I'm thinking in details. That's the last ECB price action, right? That's the last ECB meeting, right? So there was a strong sell-off into the close and then run away. So we were trying, or different words, bulls were trying to trap some bears, all right? So we took out the pre-ECB high after Riley-based continuation, right? And then, boom, we get back into that range. And we are inside the previous ECB range ahead of the ECB tomorrow. All right. So most probably, if we are going to take into the consideration the last ECB day, so we know where the possible supply and where possible demand is, right? If we are going to take into the consideration the price action we seen 25th of the March, so short accumulation, boom, to the downside, all right? Bottom of the day and open of the day, that's 1290, 1295, right? Psychological 13, and we do have this base as well. We have to take it into the consideration. So yeah, all these levels around 113, that's what's going to count tomorrow. All right. I do not expect we are gonna to break it today. If yes, then sorry, I'm not gonna to participate in that move. All right. It might be the false break. It might be the some kind of the invitation via manipulation, in my opinion. Right. So ahead of tomorrow's ECB, I'm going to take into the consideration the range from the previous ECB day meeting, all right, over here. So if we are gonna to see the rally towards 113-ish something, the bottom 13, I'm going to look for some kind of the rejection. I'm going to look for possibility to try to join short side. Even we are gonna to close above yesterday high. That might be the trying to keep the momentum. Tomorrow we are going to see higher levels than eventually the pullback, right? We'll see. The difference between this week, at least for now, and the week we've seen here during this ECB week or then ECB day is that we started the week falling on Monday, Tuesday, a little bit of the dodgy Wednesday, and then huge sell-off Thursday. So the difference is that we started yesterday with Riley today, and ECB tomorrow. So either we are gonna to see dodgy, right? So it might be the rejection above yesterday high, and eventually some trying spike to the downside. Still, remember, we do have this line based on the weekly I've been explaining. It holds last week, right? So eventually bulls may try to, trap bears around the weekly open. So trying to visualize this, if we are gonna to close lower today. So from the bullish perspective, if you are a bull, if you think that the euro-dollar short is too crowded right now, so what you wanna see tomorrow at some point, you wanna see some kind of, let's say we are going to have a doji. So tomorrow, Tokio, early Europe, on a daily, you wanna see something like this, lower, maybe even towards the weekly open, blue dotted line, right? So maybe yesterday low, we are going to retest, right? But then at some point during the press conference, you wanna see pump, which means we are going to have long lower shadow, right, with some stops around the weekly open, and then would be great to have the close above today's high, right? That would be, could be quite bullish setup, but still would be better if we are going to take 113, right? So that's how I see the things on the euro dollar, basically trying to prepare from the bullish perspective into ECB. From the bearish perspective, right, completely opposite. From the bearish perspective, completely opposite. What I would like to see, even today, I would like to see a little bit stronger price action higher towards 13, maybe 13.510, right? It might be in between, it might be after the option expiration and before the London fixing, for example. All right. So that would be the Riley, and then second part of the US session after the test of this supply over here. 1 second. All right, after the test of this supply, right, we are talking about the price action from the 25th of the March, starting to build, let's say, upper shadow, right? And boom, 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 trying to close the day below yesterday, yesterday high, right, over here. Green dotted line, 1274, 1275. All right, so let's switch to smaller time frame. What we have around 1305, 1320, that's the open and the high from this ECB day over here. Let's switch lower, that's the hourly. Okay, 1305, 1320. We have this kind of the consolidation, right? Attempt to break higher, failure, boom. And if you noticed, there was no retest. So I truly believe some kind of the supply here possible. Right, so that's the highest zone over here, right? We are testing one right now over here. Right, there is some fight between buyers and sellers. So in that case, buyers are trying to hold above yesterday high, sellers trying to hold this breakdown point over here. So that's interesting. Okay, we've got another possible intraday supply a little bit higher, right? But the key is this one based on the ECB, previous ECB day. Okay, so we are approaching first break. Looks like no fireworks. Maybe Canadian, maybe Aussie, but there are no fireworks on majors. There is some move on the dollar yen. We are going to get back into the dollar yen after the break. We were waiting for higher levels to try to sell this pair. Unfortunately, it didn't materialize, right? So we were waiting actually for a retest of this Tokyo high, and it didn't happen. There was some kind of the consolidation around yesterday low, around Tokyo low. First attempt to break, retest, boom. Looks like, but remember, we do have this whole option expiration zone in between 1140 and 1100. So let's have a look where we are going to be within the next 2 hours, 1 hour and 20 minutes. But for now, we are good to start our first break of the day. So charts are gonna be visible. My voice is back around the top of the hour. Enjoy coffee, enjoy your tea, water, and all kinds of the non-alcoholic drinks. And see you again within 20 minutes.
It would be great to have someone who could do our work for us, right? Someone to prevent us from making mistakes. Someone to assist with our routine professionally and allow us to devote our time to communicating with our closest people. If only we could get results without wasting our time for nothing. Unfortunately, it's impossible in real life. But wait, Light Forex social trading. Spend your time doing what really matters to you.
Hi guys, good afternoon again after the break. Second part of today's New York Open live market coverage. Piotr here, and this is the we are guests of the Light Forex YouTube channel. Just a small reminder, tomorrow we are going to cover the morning pre-London Open as well, but then we do have ECB rate decision, and because of it's half an hour before London, 15 minutes before London, before New York Open, our afternoon meeting, we are going to start a bit earlier. We are going to start at 1:30 p.m. CET time, so half an hour earlier than what we do usually, right? So the first hour of the New York session gone. Let's have a look what we have. We are trying to push euro dollar a little bit higher. That's exactly what we discussed during the first part, right? That the final decision most probably is gonna take place around this. Maybe I will change the color a bit. Still something related to yellow, but the final decision most probably may take place within this orange zone. Just a reminder that that's the open and the high from last ECB day, right? We are approaching this supply from 25th of March, all right, as well here. So either it might be enough, or with some kind of the spike, we might see the retest of the low of 21st of March, which has not been tested yet, right? So some bigger spike just to clean more stops. That might be the case, right? But for now, from today's perspective, just a reminder, within the next 54 minutes, we do have the option expiration, and current levels are well covered. So I do not expect any kind of the fireworks, and especially because we do have this ECB meeting tomorrow. So watching closely, and I'm very careful. We'll see. The pound, we took some stops to the upside, we took some stops to the downsides, and we are around the daily open, right? So for now, we trying to imagine the. Actually, we don't have to imagine. We can simply see. So we have the shadow to the upside, small shadow to the downside. I wouldn't be surprised to see pound going lower from here, trying to cover the same distance with it to the upside, right? So in that case, it might be that what I've mentioned before, we cannot rule it out some stop hunting to the downside. But of course, around current levels, it's hard to sell here, because we are selling into the buyers, right? Into the strong demand in between 131, 29.70. So if I'm not gonna get, if I'm not gonna get the right correlation in between entry, stop, and the target, simply I'm not gonna, probably I'm not gonna try to approach short side. And just the reminder what we discussed earlier today, we started morning with the explanation that no yesterday high by a little bit lower in relation to the daily open, so the orange zone, and with this first approach, right, I've mentioned during the first part, it wasn't easy trade, right? Other guys would tell you, oh, that was the great trade, we did it, we spoke about it, right? I showed you the link, I did the trade, but I've explained that I missed the spike here. So I've been trying to approach, and once we take out the high of this candle, when we were on the way back above yesterday high, I had 6.1 plus commission stop, and my target was 18, and I hit the target, right? It wasn't ideal 3R, but anyway, it was quite a good and fast trade. Of course, it was because of the rumors as well, right? But I've been long before the rumor been placed, right, about the Merkel and Brexit and the backstop. So I've been very short period of time in that long. Anyway, when I recognized that I hit the target thanks to the rumor, I knew it that we are gonna to give up most of that gain. And when we moved back below the yesterday high, I knew that at least we are gonna to make the lower low compared to this low from the morning, right? That was obvious that we are gonna to chase some weakest longs. That's how these guys make money, right? That's how these guys make money. So we have to remember about that, and we have to be aware of it. So we covered during the first part, we covered euro dollar and we covered pound USD. It's gonna be challenge to try to trade only rejection above 113 for me. It's for euro dollar right now. For pounds, I don't know. They have to show me something because we are on the. If we are gonna to move to the higher time frame, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 days. So almost 2 weeks tight range here, right? Too tight. We'll see. So let's have a look what we have on the dollar yen. And unfortunately, on euro dollar, yeah, I've been thinking that there are not gonna be fireworks today, and we don't have fireworks there. That's the truth. On the pound side, yeah, I would say the morning meeting, the pre-London Open live coverage was good in terms of what we discussed and scenarios, because market follow one of the scenario, right? And especially the trying to choose the correct level. So we didn't wait at the top of yesterday high. We found on a smaller time frame better entry level, and looks like it worked out correctly. Even I missed, I was able to join the party a little bit higher. Anyway, dollar yen here, unfortunately market didn't follow our scenario. So if market didn't follow our or my scenario, then I was not able to trade that market. Just a reminder, we were focusing on the left side. All right, we were focusing on the left side, and because what happened during the Tokyo session, we had this stop hunt, right, rejection. And to be honest with you, frankly speaking, I was expecting that because of yesterday low, because of we hit during the Tokyo this low, that we may try to retest 1150, right? That's what I've been talking about during the morning meeting. Unfortunately, there was some kind of the consolidation, and right now during the first hour of the New York session there is a breakdown. Still trying to hold psychological even level 111, and most probably there is a chance we are gonna to hold that level for the next 45 minutes. All right, but then we may see attempt to move a little bit higher, so we may see some kind of the, let's say, flag creation. All right, retest of the broken yesterday low, because we haven't seen this retest. So retest here, right, with some stops, and then we may see another move lower, and we created the possible demand a little bit lower. So we were talking about the levels under the figure down towards 180, 160. Okay, so especially if we are focusing morning at this left side, this supply, right? So right now the lower yellow possible demand, so we are going to focus on this demand, right? So 110.80, 110.60, that might be a nice fight around this zone. We'll see. The breakdown will open again psychological 110, 109.70 on dollar yen. So what I'm gonna to look for here, because we do have a little bit off ahead of the risk off ahead of the New York cash open, right? We do have a little bit of the pullback here on Nasdaq, but still plenty of space. The guys here, they don't have to be worried, at least not yet. All right. So from the higher time frame perspective, what we discussed, again, we were correct on Thursday. I mean, before that happened, I've mentioned that the key here is the Wednesday low, and we may see retest and we may see the lower shadow, and exactly what happened last Thursday. So we are trying higher, and we do have two possible scenarios here. All right, but of course we are going to watch Nasdaq right at the New York cash open, so we are going to get back into the Nasdaq within the next few minutes, right at the open. What I would like to show you, I've prepared and placed on a trading view Nikkei 225, because I think that it looks very interesting, and if we are gonna to see the continuation of the yen strength at some point, that might be very, very interesting. But let me switch to the Nikkei 1 second. All right, that's what we are talking about. That's the daily Nikkei based on CFD. All right. I know that might not be great megaphone because of maybe the upper line is not drew the greatest way, but anyway, not megaphone is the most important. The latest consolidation over here, I think, is the most important, and the failure we seen yesterday, right? So yesterday we get back inside the range over here, right? Today we're trying to take out again, run away, but yeah, we are right at the top of that range. So we still have 50% of that whole range. So let me show you what I'm talking about. The upper side of that range. If that's the whole range, right, we are talking about the upper side of that range. So we are talking about this one. As long as we are above this 50%, we still, from the bull's perspective, good to go higher, right? The thing is that I thought, based on the latest action in US, we are going to see actually at least a bit of the straight move continuation of this possible V formation, right? And it didn't materialize yet. So that looks very, very interesting. But as I mentioned, let's wait for market to clarify what they want to do. All right, so bulls are gonna be in trouble below 21,200, 21,000 on a daily basis, especially if we are gonna to close below that zone in a 2 consecutive days. Of course, right now bulls are in a bit better position, just to try to run away from the top of this consolidation. And if that's gonna happen, all right, if that's going to happen, then we may see a bit of the rally and this stop hunting. But I would say it's not gonna be the end, right? We are probably gonna to retest 25k. Okay, that's how I see the things from the bullish perspective. But I truly believe that something is going on, because I think we should be higher already, and we are not. So yeah, and current yen action ahead of the New York Open, it might be some kind of the trap. All right, we will see. So let's get back into the platform ahead of the US Open. Okay, so and right now in US we are approaching some significant levels, and if we are gonna to take into the consideration what happened with DE yesterday, for example, so let's switch to DJ for a while, right? It's not that great. It's not that great. It looks like it might be one big failure over here, okay? It might be one big failure over here. There is still some space to the left side, right? But once we are gonna to get back below 25,800, based on the chart I'm using here, that might be one big trouble for the bulls, all right? And even more, I placed one more chart yesterday, US 10s, 10-year T-notes, and bulls, looks like bulls took over. There is a space to go higher in terms of price, meaning yields get the chance to go a little bit lower, meaning that the market is a bit afraid, right? Bidding the safe haven. We'll see. Anyway, DJ doesn't look good, and if we are gonna to close below yesterday low, okay, if we are going to close the day below yesterday low, right, below the low of the 4th of April, right? After retest of this breakout here, right? So we had like double top, pullback, we were discussing this last week, and then move higher, right? So Riley based continuation, but looks like momentum stalled here, and yeah, that looks very, very interesting. So there are gonna be plenty of things to do from the bulls perspective. So quick reorganization, and I would say that they have to start to beat right from the New York Open, right? Because we are going to have some kind of the gap in between the cash close, cash open here. Burning, General Electric, those big names, they are waiting on the DJ, right? So yeah, that's DJ might be very, very, very interesting. If we are going to add latest President Trump tweet, by the way, there is a cut for burning at Goldman to 393 from 425. Let me put it into the chat. Right. One second. Banning is trading even lower. Let's have a look. One moment. I'm not often trading the single stocks, but let's switch. I'm going to show you where we are at burning. That's the daily burning chart, all right, here on the Light Forex platform. So the horrible accident, we all remember, sell-off on burning, bounce base on the simple demand zone over here, right? But that's weak bounce, all right? And it might be something similar to what we discussed on the pound dollar, right? We have another sell-off, and we may continue a little bit lower toward 365 based on this Goldman Sachs cut. Then most probably the central banks are gonna to step in to rescue the indices before deeper and sharper fall. So we may see another attempt go higher, and then from this particular stock's perspective, I would look for what was the rally over here, where we stalled. 38. So in that case, I would look for retest the low, rally for 38 exactly towards 380, and that might be the opportunity to see them lower towards 300, right? Within this type of the configuration. It might also end up with all those negativities, all right? With all these negativities, it might end up as an inverted cup of coffee. So without the third correction, just inverted cup of coffee, right? So move below 360, daily close, especially twice in a row, close below, may open the low toward 300, 290. All right. That's buying, and the next victim here, General Electric. Looks like everything or different things and the names went higher here from after the breakdown late October, beginning of November, right? All we had, it was the correction into the broken correction into the broken demand and lower gap down yesterday, trying to hold some levels. But yeah, we'll see what's going to happen with General Electric as well. All right, so let's get back to DJ and Nasdaq. So looks like heavy selling into the open, actually pre-open. So we have the gap down in between yesterday cash close, today's cash open. What we have here, most probably we are gonna to retest lower levels. I'm talking about the zone over here. And that's where we are gonna to, most probably that's where we are gonna to get an answer, right? Most probably we are gonna to clean some stops, and then we are gonna to get an answer if it's stops only or if it's something stronger here. All right. All right. US market is open. So you know what? Let's have a look what is going on DJ today. Looks like more interesting, and the first minute, strong selling during the first minute. So let's have a look. Let's try to create the first 5-minute zone. That's the cash open. That's the cash high for now. And that's the cash low for now. And yeah, looks like right away, straight from the open, they wanna retest this demand zone we discussed a second ago. All right, so let's have a look how FX is reacting. Of course, we have this sell-off, but 11, it's what is important for the next 28 minutes. Just a reminder, option expiration. And let's have a look what we have. How low can we go, or is just the extension of the range? Looks like I'm not taking the shadows into consideration, just opening and closing levels. So that's just the, oh no, we extended the range lower. So yeah, looks like the demand around 110.80, 110.60 might be in play. But of course, because of the sentiment we have right now, I'm not gonna blindly buy into that demand zone. I know there is some kind of the demand over here, meaning that I'm not gonna to sell here. What I would like to see, again as a reminder, At some point we might see the attempt to move higher to try to correct downside move on the stocks, and it might also happen here on dollar yen. So what I would like to see on a smaller time frame, some kind of the flag consumption, retest of the yesterday low, maybe a little bit higher, some stop hunting, and then sell off, right? That's what I'm gonna to watch here for now, based on the sentiment we have right after the US Open, right? We are still, there is a black, another 4 minutes right now, and still lower. Ooh. But we are approaching possible demand, so something closer to 2600, and then depends. Right now we are reacting right at the point we have here from, yeah, that's this bottom of the range. So for sure we are gonna to clean some stops here. I'm sure we should, and then attempt to maybe to go a little bit higher, or the sentiment is that bad that we are not gonna see that cat bounce. Holy Malone. So that's the low, cash low, and that's quite strong move. Cash open, first 5 minutes low, it's a 75 points, so it's around 0.3%, 0.25 in a red. Nah, it's not a catastrophic move yet. Okay, so the consolidation breakdown. All right, so drop, base, drop, at least how it looks right now. So if we are gonna to double the range of the 5 minutes, sorry, if we are gonna to double it, where we are gonna to end up? Yeah, the very bottom of that possible demand. Of course, with this sentiment, you don't wanna buy into the demand. You wanna see if there is any kind of the bullish reaction within demand. So we are waiting for a little bit of the bounce. But as I mentioned, I'm not trading a hit. I'm very rarely I'm trading single stocks, and I'm not that active on the indices as well. I do prefer Nasdaq. But anyway, it was very interesting to see what is going on here on the DJ. But let's get back and check. Euro is not moving, pound not moving, but reacting into this breakout candle to the bottom of the here. So we had attempt to go higher after the breakdown. Yeah, there was a breakdown, attempt to go higher. That might be another attempt to go higher, and if we are gonna to around the option expiration, if we are gonna be below the low over here, that might be interesting. That might turn more bearish here. We are still trapped in between weekly open and yesterday high for now. That's where we reacted 1 hour ago. Niagara Falls. So let's have a look what we have on Nasdaq. Nasdaq is trying to hold the demand we drew a second ago. Also watching oil, and if we are gonna to get the close below the green line, it's again based on the daily and this possible supply over here, if we are going to get the close below, I may consider some shorts tomorrow. Just a reminder, we are going to get API private data later today, half an hour after the US close, and tomorrow we've got official crude oil inventories. So I'm going to monitor oil today, at least for now. We'll see if there maybe some kind of the action I like. We'll see. Yeah, Nasdaq is trying to recover based on the zone we drew before cash open. Just a reminder, I'm gonna actually you are not going, most probably you are not going to hear from me, oh yeah, that was easy trade, oh yeah, I did this, I did that, unless I can prove, right? But for sure you are gonna to hear that what we trying to put on the chart, usually we are trying to put well before that happened, right? So what we trying to do, what I'm trying to give you, it's some kind of the visualization. Usually it's a good, because there are plenty of different possible scenarios, right? And if you are gonna to investigate each of the scenario, then most probably you are not gonna be able to trade, because the whole day is you are gonna to investigate all the possible scenarios. So what I'm trying to focus on usually depends if it's a trend day or if it's a range day. If it's a range, I'm trying to focus on both sides. If it's a trend day, I'm trying to join the trend side. Sometimes from the intraday perspective, if we are testing strong supply or demand, I'm trying to make the counter trade. That's yeah. But what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to visualize. I'm trying to have 2-3 scenarios, possible scenarios, and if market is trying to react, is trying to react at the levels, at my levels, right? Then there is a chance they may want to trade my scenario, and then I'm trying to join the party. Otherwise, sometimes it's better to skip. Trading is a waiting game. It's the same what I've been explaining, how I was explaining the pound trade today, right? Anyway, let's see where they are gonna to be at the end of at the top of the hour. So it's time for a second and last break today. So enjoy coffee, enjoy tea. Charts are visible, and I'm going back after the short break around the top of the hour.
It would be great to have someone who could do our work for us, right? Someone to prevent us from making mistakes. Someone to assist with our routine professionally and allow us to devote our time to communicating with our closest people. If only we could get results without wasting our time for nothing. Unfortunately, it's impossible in real life. But wait, Light Forex Social Trading. Spend your time doing what really matters to you.
Alright, so it's a third and the last part of our today's afternoon New York Open live market coverage here on Light Forex YouTube channel. So before we will try to summarize the majors, let's have a look what we have on a few different crosses. Let's start with Aussie Kiwi, something we discussed right before and right after. Let me find the cross. Yeah, right before and right after RBA and Australian budget release. We had the meeting and we were discussing possibility of the longs over here. Unfortunately, I didn't get the optimal entry. Right. The good thing is that what been discussed during that day, there was a strong approach towards the long, right? So overall market reading was correct. Maybe the entry was not that great, right? I mean, we haven't seen the pullback, right? The only pullback we've seen, it was the one towards this range, right? I've been thinking that once because there was a double of that range, there was a rejection, right, after the RBA. I thought that we are gonna to see similar move to the downside, and we are gonna to retest something closer to 0350, 0300. So unfortunately, it didn't materialize, didn't happen. So once we took out post RBA high, right, there was a only move to the upside. So frankly speaking, I was not able to join this party yet, but I'm still watching, and hopefully I will be able to at some point to join, because again, I do believe we might see some kind of the pullback based on the daily, because we are approaching quite strong supply. So in that case, I'm gonna to take into the consideration, of course I'm not gonna get probably that low, so in that case I'm gonna to watch this Riley base Riley. So I would like to see correction back towards 0450, 0420, right? Riley base Riley, move back, and that's where I'm gonna to try to that's where I'm going to try to join this party. And of course, if I'm gonna to be stopped out over here, then the plan with this 0350 03 level is going back into play, right? And just the reminder that we are discussing from the higher perspective. So the final target, our final target is around 110, 112. So it's still plenty of space, but of course I would like to have the best possible risk reward ratio in that trade. So I'm watching, I'm patient, and yeah, hopefully we are going to see some kind of the pullback here. Aussie USD. If the sentiment will turn around here, because of what we've seen, right? So where we are right now from the higher time frame perspective, we are testing still supply based on what we've seen here, right? And why I think here is a supply. So you have to get back few recordings back where we were discussing those 4 setups: Riley base drop, drop base Riley, Riley base Riley, drop base drop. Of course we are going to repeat from time to time. Of course we are going to make separate webinar just focusing not on the market but on the strategies I'm using, no doubt about it. The thing is that taking into consideration the latest 2 lows, it was broken. I'm going to explain when we are going to have a time. But anyway, we are testing supply based on the daily, right? And it's a third approach. What I see here is a possibility we are trying to, from the bearish perspective, we may try to finish the business, meaning that we hit some stops and it's gonna be better visible from the intraday perspective. So let's switch to 1 hour chart, right? We hit some stops, intraday stops. Even today, we had this nice price action. We hit the high, pullback, stops, engulf, right? And trying to run away from that channel. We'll see. Cautious here. From the intraday perspective, we do have possible demand somewhere, first possible demand somewhere around here. That's where we see the reaction right now. So it's all about, it might be all about the daily close. We may try to narrow it. Anyway, no, we have to keep this post RBA high over here, so we have to have it here. And the next one is a little bit lower, and that's the possible demand over here. The thing is that if we are agree that all here we consider as a range, right? So we may see all the way down toward this over over here. We may see all the way down here. And that would be great, to be honest with you, right? That would be nice opportunity to try to go long. So if you believe that was the range, we are awaiting the much lower levels. If you think that we are breaking out, probably we should use one of these zones above, but it's against the supply based on the daily. So don't forget about this, right? The orange is represents intraday, green, just a reminder, represents daily, right? So let's make it quickly what different colors means on the chart, just to be on the same side. So every time, guys, something in a red zone, line, whatever in a red, it represents monthly chart, right? So if I'm watching 1 minute chart and suddenly I'm going to see Riley and I'm going to see red zone above, meaning that it's an intraday rally into the supply based on the monthly chart, right? In my opinion. So of course I'm gonna be very careful with longs, right? Because the higher time frame is stronger. So monthly is represented by the red color, weekly by the blue color. So zone, line, whatever, blue color, that meaning it's something related to the weekly chart. Green, daily, and everything yellow related like this, orange related, right? And it could be magnet as well, purple, maroon, intraday related. So that's how it looks from the Aussie perspective. If we are gonna to see crash on the stock, I would be very careful to trying to trade Aussie against the US dollar, right? But we know that in US it might be the session of two parts. So whatever we see during the first part might be completely, totally opposite to what we are going to happen in the second part. But let's see and let's wait, right? So that's how Aussie looks like, in my opinion. Canadian dollar, daily, where we are, looks like it might be bottom of the range on daily. Right, looks like bottom of the range, over under. So on daily looks quite good, especially if we are gonna to watch what is going on during the day on oil. It might be worth to watch what is going on CAD. Now, what we have here. Possible demand. Intraday, possible demand. What else we have? Some double bottom which been used to hunt the stops towards real possible demand, right? Let's check this real possible intraday demand. Is it correct? From here we were trying to hold this, so we took out the stops from here. Can we make sorry, it's over under over here. This was retested. Not that clear for me, but anyway, it was stop hunt. So right now, after that stop hunt, right, we might try to focus on this. So at some point during the day, if we are gonna to, especially that we took out some supply, so we may try to focus what's going to happen around 33, 32.80 if we are going to see the retest. Just a reminder, within the next 45 minutes, fix in London. So yeah, a little bit more activity and manipulation possible. So what I'm going to watch, I'm going to watch on this Canadian dollar. I'm going to watch eventually what is going to happen around 33, 32.85 to the upside, that depends on what's going to happen with oil, right? But if we agree that it was the range, so I'm interested in the higher level. So I would like to see this over under at the high, something like this. So either 34.40 or stop hunting above the high from the 28th of March, right? Am I right or no? 28th of March, yes. So maybe some stop hunting to the upside. So from the risk reward perspective, still a chance, right? So I'm not gonna try it blindly here. In case we are gonna to see the yellow zone, I'm going to what's going to happen if we are going to see the pullback into the London fix, maybe, or later during the day. But that's in relation to crude, and that's in relation to stock, right? Once the sentiment will turn during the second part of the US session, of course, this idea with longs on USD Canadian versus Canadian dollar, the idea is gonna be off, right? No longer valid. Okay, crude, we discussed watching, wanna see where we are going to close the day. Indices, the second part. So let's summarize euro dollar, let's try to summarize pound, and let's try to summarize dollar yen, and we are gonna be good to go. With euro dollar, still wanna see the orange zone and wanna see the price action on smaller time frame. If I can get some kind of the supply within this supply, if I can get some kind of the supply based on the, let's say, 1 minute chart, right? What I mean by that, let's have a look on the smaller time frame. Let's try to visualize what I would like to see. I would like to see small, steady move to the upside, right? Slow, steady, every time pull back over here, etc, etc, etc. Finally, I would like to see move to the upside with attempt to reject consumption of the latest demand, maybe stop hunt, and I'm gonna be right under, right? I'm gonna be waiting right under in that case. Yes, euro dollar, if I'm gonna to see this type of the price action around this 13.20, this type of the action, of course not at the end of the day. Ideally would be to see it right after the London fixing, otherwise tomorrow during ECB. So with ECB we might see the spike higher, and we discuss it based on the chart, daily chart. So that's how I see the things, and all is related to what we've seen during the previous ECB day, right? So the zone is related to this one. And then from the bulls perspective, we would like to see strong sell-off as a trap around the press conference and building the lower shadow, right? So that's how I see the things. Of course, if we are gonna to see attempt to sell off, and if we are gonna to get below weekly open and weekly low, right, we may expose this ECB low. That's what we discussed as well, right? But we are trying to visualize one of the possible bullish scenarios. So just don't try to mix it up, right? I'm trying to put both scenarios. What I would like to see if I'm gonna to look for bullish price action, and let's say I'm placing myself as a bull, and what I want to see from the bearish perspective, right? So just to be as clear as possible, right? Because I'm as long as I can't move the market 112, yeah, it's a around weekly low. I got the point. I got the point. I would be careful with this double. And this, if it's 1170s, it's right below this ECB low 76, just 6 pips. With this 90, I would be careful. Maybe would I cannot give advice, but I can tell you what I'm gonna to consider if we are gonna to see the strong move to the downside. So yes, this level around 112 related to the weekly open weekly low, swing on the daily low, that's okay. But then I think that if we are gonna to attack this level, we may try to hit the stops from the 2nd of April. So we may try to thinking about the manipulation, right? Because right now there are some lucky guys long from here, right? I don't know. I'm just thinking. I like to think about the manipulation. So trying to totally clean the market, I would rather think about 112 as a first, and then not 1190. I would think about something closer to 80 or right below the low over here, and a little bit lower. Stop, because yeah, that's my way of thinking. And then they are gonna to hit 1190 and will run away, and then I knew it, and Piotr told me something different. Oh, come on. That's only my way of thinking. There are, what I'm usually saying, there are plenty of different scenarios, and it might be that the 2nd April low is a monthly low. It might be. It totally might be that it's a low for the month, or is a low for the quarter. It might be. We will see. Positive in terms of the daily close. We might see higher during the Tokyo, higher during the London, if we are gonna to close above yesterday high. And we may see attempt to push lower if we are gonna to close below yesterday high. Even better, if we are gonna be around yesterday close and today's open. Yeah, the capital preservation is yeah. As long as we cannot move the market, we can only take care about one thing. We can only take care about our risk approach, right? There are plenty of opportunities on the market every day, but we can try to take the advantage of this opportunity as long as we have the money in our wallet. If there is no money in our wallet, there might be the greatest opportunity, but without us, because we have no money, then, so because we cannot move the market, we have to take care about our risk approach. So if I'm not gonna see Riley after the London fix into 13 level, I'm gonna to skip and I'm gonna to watch daily close. Close like this above yesterday high. We might see Tokyo trying a bit higher. Close around yesterday close. We might see retest and pressure to the downside ahead of the ECB, right? Latest ECB meetings, every time Draghi was the winner, we saw euro weakness. Probably tomorrow Draghi is thinking is gonna be similar. Now, it's not only ECB day tomorrow. It also European Union summit related to the Brexit, if I'm not mistaken. Let me. I can't see in the calendar yet, but I think we have the summit tomorrow. So it's gonna be, yeah, pound related, euro related, but also we do have very important US number. We do have CPI tomorrow at 2:30, right? So right at the press conference start, we have US data. So it might be higher volatility tomorrow at that time. Okay, so we have to be extremely careful. Guys, one more time. We have a meeting tomorrow morning. We are going to cover pre-London Open, right? Then, because of ECB, our meeting tomorrow afternoon is half an hour earlier. So 1:30 CET tomorrow. You are more than welcome to join the meeting. We are going to cover ECB and we are going to cover US CPI. All right, guys, that's it from me today. Please don't be trapped. Have a great evening, and you are more than welcome to join me tomorrow morning, pre-London Open, and then again covering ECB and US CPI. Have a great evening. Goodbye.